And this thing says I'm live, but I can't tell what the delay is. So I'm just kind of checking it out as I go. It's my first time doing this whole live thing on the YouTubes. Like I said, I got a couple topics. I'm going to talk about Brock. I'm going to talk about Trey. That's what everybody's talking about. But I have my own opinions on it. And all this trade talk, I'm not exactly a big fan of all that either. But it's out there. So, yeah. Yeah, it's out there. Why? I don't know, but it's there. So, there's not much you can do about it. I put out a video yesterday or the day before basically saying that I'm not a big fan of Trade and Trey or Brandon or any. I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys watch Grant Cohn, but this dude wants to trade everybody. And I don't hate Grant at all. I think he's awesome. I think he's funny as hell. This dude's been talking for years about trading people. And now it's like everybody, I'm going to trade Trey. I'm going to trade Brandon. It's all over the internet. And I blame Grant. I'm just kidding, of course, but that's pretty much, it's almost what it feels like, though. It's like, what the heck? You know? It's just like all over the place. You know, it doesn't make any sense. But that's the internet. That's YouTube. YouTube and Twitter, to me, it's like, I don't know if it's the real world. It's like an alternate universe kind of thing going on. But I don't know. We all want information and we all want news. And we gather it up as best as we can. So we're all the same. We're all just taking it in a little bit differently. And what you choose to believe or not to believe is completely up to you. And I don't judge you. But let's start off with the obvious stuff. Brock Purdy. I forget who it was yesterday. It might have also been Grant. It might have been Grant and the coach. I think the coach is badass. He was thinking that Brock won't play till like week 8. Maybe. I guess it's a possibility. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be a bit sooner. Maybe. I'm not a firm believer in week 1, but I'm seeing like week 2. Week 8, man, that's pushing it. You know, he's a younger guy. And, you know, when you're younger, you can recover from some of these injuries a little bit quicker. I know there's no science that completely backs that up, but as a person who's played sports, and most people who've played sports, you can kind of recover from some stuff a little bit quicker when you're younger. He's 23. It's different with ligaments and things like that too. You know, it's not the same as broken bones, but I'm thinking week 2. But that wasn't really the biggest thing. I seen everyone. There's so many people arguing about like, well, now Brock's not good. I'm like, where is this shit coming from? I mean, are we watching the same stuff? Did you watch the same games that I watched last year? I know he doesn't got the strongest arm on the planet. I know that, but you know, he's got something. Something's remarkable. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's great. You know, I don't go that extremes on things like that, but he's got something. He's got something we haven't had in a while. And I was thinking about this earlier before I went live. It's like there's so many extremes out there on the internet right now. It's like, I'm trying to get my hands on the screen here. There's the Brock camp and the Trey camp. And it's just like it was before when we had Jimmy. It's almost like politics. There's these far left wackos and there's some far right wackos. But they're the very small percentage of the population. And I kind of feel like that's what this is. These hardcore Trey guys, I think they're a small percentage. These hardcore Brock guys and the hardcore Jimmy guys, they're a small percentage. It's a law of averages. And I think the average person kind of believes both these quarterbacks are pretty damn good. Maybe that's just what I want to believe in my heart of hearts. I don't know. But if you believe in the law of averages, that tells you that the extremes are the outliers. Okay, they're out here. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I think Brock's a pretty good quarterback. And him going into the season as number one when he's healthy, I'm fine with that. But do I want to see more? Hell yeah. Of course I do. And I'll talk about Trey after this. Let's just get over the Brock part here. But just seeing all the extremes out there that people are saying that's like, oh, this guy's not that good. Oh, he's just Jimmy light. He's Jimmy but younger. I don't know what games you're watching. I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know what you saw. I don't know if that's coming from fair weather fans or trolls or not. It's like I said, the internet's not real. I don't know these people. Like I know 49er fans in real life. I know football fans. All my friends, my family, we watch football religiously. And I don't think anybody who watched Brock said this guy was just, he's mid. He's okay. Dude did some pretty cool shit. And that's what I was saying earlier about like the extremes. If you love Trey so much, you hate Brock, man, there's something wrong with that. If you love Brock so much you hate Trey, there's something wrong with that too. I'm not a psychologist or nothing, but my advice would be just go watch. I mean, we're on YouTube right now, right? There's a little search bar up there. Click it. Type in highlights. Brock Purdy, Trey Lance. Watch for yourself. Watch it for a couple times. If you still feel the same way you did before, then hey, it's your opinion. Might not agree with you, but your opinion. So, welcome to America. You have the right. So now we'll move on to the Trey thing. The Trey thing, it's so it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like poisonous. There's just people that are just so they just believe it's over and he's done. That he's got nothing and just get rid of him. And it's just another one of those extremes that it's like I just don't know how you could come to that conclusion. And I could understand that, like, the coaching staff might have their own opinion, which we don't know. And we can take little clues from interviews and press conferences and whatnot. But that's about as far as it goes. And then we just speculate because we're fans and that's what we do. We go on YouTube and it's like, what the fuck's going on? You know? So I understand that. But at the end of the day, we don't really know. We're speculating. Theories and putting out YouTube videos like this, talking about what we think's going on. It's just the extremes that are just out there for me. It's like, oh, we got to trade him. I put out a video a couple of days ago. I'm like, I don't think there's any value for him. He's more valuable to us. He's more valuable to this team than he is to be traded. Now, it's my opinion. I just, a third round pick to me is not enough. Because we're going to have to start probably Trey Lance the beginning of this season. If you can, I mean, you could go and look at the free agents out there and like, oh, okay, well, this guy would be better. Maybe. I don't know. Trey knows the offense. I think you'll see Trey in the more traditional style. What we see coming up next, we'll see him in probably the traditional Kyle Shanahan offense. He's not a guy that looks like he's literally learned from his mistakes, but I think it's a good chance he learned from this one. I mean, Trey was a play action quarterback in college. He wasn't Mike Vick. He wasn't Jalen Hurts. He wasn't this running phenom. He was a drop back, play action pocket passer who could move around a little bit, which is, if you remember, it's kind of like what the West Coast offense was designed around, bootlegging and moving the quarterback around to buy time. Yeah. You guys ever watch Kansas City Chiefs play football? It's a West Coast offense. Still works quite well. So I think it'll be a little bit different. But the main thing is going back to what I was talking about the trade. I don't see it. The only thing that can make sense is there's some kind of total breakdown of like, and I would say that'd be like something about his character or something, or his commitment. But I haven't heard anything regarding that. That is commitment to football, his character. You know, there was one thing about him at a strip club or something like that last year. Young kid, it's going to happen. It's probably not something he should have done. That's a very Jimmy thing. He must have maybe learned that from Jimmy. I don't know, but you know, you learn from that. Avoidable. Shouldn't have probably done it. Shouldn't have put himself in that situation. But nonetheless, I don't think anybody's reported anything negative about his character or his commitment to the team or his work ethic. So if that hasn't changed, I don't know what would. And I don't know what we have 3 third-round draft picks coming up. We couldn't replace him with something more intriguing than him. You could get an Andy Dalton-ish, Matt Ryan-ish kind of guy. Man, I'd still go with Trey. I don't. What was the Ian Rappaport report was talking about? So apparently he's the one that broke it, that his sources were saying that there's a good chance that possibly Sam Darnold could be the week 1 starter. So everyone's like, well, Ian Rappaport doesn't bullshit. I mean, he hears some shit, so he knows what's going on. And that makes you think, well, shit, this could be real. You know, I just put out a video a couple of days ago, like, oh, wait, they're not going to trade Trey. And it's like this starts just getting more real as it goes. And I'm just, you know, when you're trying to get to an answer or something, you try to work your way backwards. Well, how did we get to this point? Well, they wanted to move on from Jimmy because he was injury prone or refused to play hurt, possibly. So now are they looking at Trey as injury prone? I don't know. Possibly. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I know a lot of people don't say, well, Kyle got him hurt. People get hurt playing football. The play call was stupid as fuck, though. That was a bad call. Trey's not a running quarterback. He's not Josh Allen. He's probably 20, 30 pounds lighter than him, if not more. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I just disagree with it. But it sure got YouTube all up into all Twitter pated and the Twitter webs. Well, it's like I was saying earlier too. It's like the factions. You know, now it's Brock and Trey. Last year was, well, almost the last 2 years. It was Jimmy and Trey, and now it's just flip flopped. If it gets to this point, I could see why they'd want to move off one or the other. Drama's not good. A lot of you are probably too young to be around the Joe Montana, Steve Young thing. I was in high school, and we didn't have the internet yet, but we still talked. And I had friends that preferred Steve over Joe. I didn't agree. I still don't agree, personally. I think if we would have kept Joe Montana, we would have won multiple Super Bowls, as opposed to when Steve Young, you got one? Yeah. I don't like to speculate. I just, my instincts, my gut feeling tells me that Joe would have won a few more. But it's speculation. It's theories. It's ancient aliens, you know? Maybe. But here's what's weird, though. That was a legit conversation to have, because that was Joe Montana and Steve Young. Those are future Hall of Fame quarterbacks that won a shit ton of games, right? And now we're doing this with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, who, I mean, Brock Purdy's won, what, 8 or 9 games. Trey won a couple games. And we're bitching about this like we got 2 Hall of Famers on the team or something. I mean, both of them could be special. Keyword is could. I don't know. As Niner fans, I think we should just be happy that we got them right now. And that's where I'm at. And I don't see Trey being traded at all. Not this year. Maybe not even next year. You know, if he comes out and he plays well, if he does well in preseason, and he has to start 2 games, 4 games, and like the coach said, if he has to play 8 games, if he plays 8 games and does well, I don't know if Brock Purdy comes back in. We'll see what happens. That's why we call it speculation, right? We don't know. I don't think Brock will be out that long. That's my opinion. This is going on YouTube, so here's my receipts. Put it in your pocket. You can throw it back at me later. I'll eat crow. I don't mind. I'm just an optimistic person, so. Let's see, I do have other topics. I do write this stuff down. Before I get into Brandon Ayuk, I put out a video the other day, and I didn't see anybody else put anything about this on the internet, on the YouTubes. So the 49ers applied for a loan with the NFL to do a $120 million renovation on Levi's Stadium so that they could possibly host the Super Bowl in 2026. And I'm thinking is what they got to do is some kind of sunshade that's blocking the sun from coming in and roasting, cooking all the people over there. And I'm sure a lot of you Niner fans know that that stadium design was from the 90s, from the site where they were going to put it at Candlestick Point. So they kept the same design. They just put the original stadium in Santa Clara. Yeah, Google it. They should have designed a whole new stadium based on that area with that, where the sun was coming down. I don't know what they did. You know, it's weird. For a living, I'm a commercial construction estimator. But, you know, the architectural side, it's a whole different thing. You got to consider where the sun comes, where the sun sets, sunrise. You got to look at all that shit. I don't know if they did. You know, you should. Someone should have. A lot of fucking money out there. I don't know. 80, 90 degrees to me is not that hot, but I don't know. I guess for those Santa Clara people, it's hot. I don't know. I've never been to the stadium. I've drove by it many times on I-80, but it's not attractive at all. It is Friday, so I'm having a beer. So it's a $120 million loan. It's not, it is a loan. Well, if you know what that means, you got to pay it back. But it hasn't been approved yet. So I'm thinking that they would do something along the lines of shading. They got to consider wind load and all that stuff. Like I said, I work in construction. But yeah, it'd have to be some kind of, I would assume some kind of canopy shading would be my guess. Or maybe some shell retrofitting on the outside just to make it look a little more modern. Because it doesn't, it looks like kind of like a 1990s college stadium to me. All right, that's stadium talk. Now let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. This is almost I said earlier. I blame Grant. What was he saying last year? Trade Kittle, trade Bosa. Now I know he likes Brandon Ayuk, and many of us do. He's one of my favorite players on the team. But now there's Brandon trade talk, and it's legitimate because we know that from the coaches, from Kyle Shanahan and John, that they have entertained phone calls regarding trade requests for Brandon Ayuk. So this isn't rumors or theories. So you can't blame Grant. Although I do really think he might be quality control there. Somebody needs to check their payroll. But anyways, on a serious note, I'm not a fan of this one either. I think he's the best receiver on the team. You watched my video a few days ago and I said the same thing. And I'll say the same thing I said in that video. You trade him for a first round pick and we draft another receiver with a first round, we're not going to get a guy probably as good as him. This team has not shown a great success. This regime has not shown great success in drafting in the first round. Brandon's one of them. You don't trade that. Dude's a badass. We're not trading Brandon Ayuk. It's not happening. So, but would you? Niner fans, would you trade him? First round pick, thinking, get a future left tackle to replace. Because eventually, you know he's going to step away. We use a right tackle. I think we could get that with one of our thirds. They make good tackles in third round. I don't know. Most of the best players we have on our team have been drafted in the third round or later. Minus a handful. Brandon, Debo. Corner, edge rusher. Because we all have our different ideas of what we consider needs, right? Like to me, I think we could use another edge rusher. I think we could use a badass right tackle. Safety. Corner. You're not generally going to get the best player in the draft in the third. We might get lucky. How many times can we keep getting lucky? At some point, you're going to have to start hitting on these first rounders. Now, we haven't had one in a few years. And we know why that. But that's in the past. We got to worry about the now. Is something more valuable that we need now than Brandon Ayuk, in your opinion? my opinion, no. We can try. It will be like last year. We can put some more band-aids on this and see how well we do late in the draft. And we did pretty good last year too. We did pretty good the year before. Talanoa. Last year we got Brock. We got Elijah Mitchell a few years ago. We got Mason last year. We were doing pretty good. I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. That's my opinion. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we're pushing about 30 minutes in for my first live. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Enjoy the rest of my Friday evening. And I suggest you guys do the same. I'll catch you guys the next one. Thanks for tuning in to the very first live NinerCast. I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Later.